To blame my wife for my insecurities because anytime she would give me any sort of feedback, I wouldn't be able to receive it securely and be able to work on it constructively because in my mind, the two can't coexist. You can't love me and admire me and praise me, and then on the other hand, me be doing anything wrong. Like, I have to be perfect in your eyes. And so as soon as she gives me any sort of feedback or I'm doing anything that's vulnerable or imperfect, I can't handle it. And it wasn't until I started doing the inner work of relationships that I realized that you can be loved, admired, and have a healthy commitment, but at the same time have things you need to work on, be vulnerable, be accountable to. And there's a lot of imperfections, and part of being human is to work through those things together. But what was so wild is that my insecurity wound would blame her for what she's saying. So like, I can't even work on what she's saying because I'm making it her problem. So let's say I'm doing something hurtful and she's bringing it to my attention. That's her problem. She shouldn't have that, or she's too sensitive, or she's too this, she's too that, right? I'm deflecting because I don't want to have to look at what she's saying, or else my whole self-esteem would be in jeopardy. And so this was this really interesting wound of insecurity, deflection tendency, this coping mechanism to get the attention off of me having to be vulnerable for something and instead making it about her. It's a deflection because I'm just trying to shift the attention to you're the problem, not me. And the other thing that was really frustrating over the years for her, I'm sure, is that a lot of what she would bring to me wouldn't change. And we would often say things like, we've been talking about this for years, and we've said this again and again and again, and it wouldn't change because in order to make true change, you have to have security in your self-esteem to also be working on something that's vulnerable and needs improvement. Again, because of my wound of insecurity that we go over in the inner work of relationships, the two can't coexist, right? I can't be loved and admired and need to work on something at the same time. And so instead, it took me some time to realize, like many years, to realize I am secure while working on something. The most vital acceptance is to realize we remain lovable despite our insecurities, shortcomings, and imperfections. Man, I just could not accept that. It took me so long. Those of us with the wound of insecurity often mistakenly believe, this was me to a T, that hiding our vulnerabilities is essential for admiration, praise, and love from our partner. Fearing exposure of our true selves will get us rejected. Whew, nailed that. However, true connection and healing in a relationship require the courage to be open, vulnerable, and accountable. It's about reconciling our insecurities with love and understanding, acknowledging the entirety of our being, both light and dark, healed and wounded, healthy and toxic. To genuinely love ourselves, we must accept all aspects of who we are. This whole thing was actually my journey. I needed to be able to make peace with my insecurities. I needed to make peace with my vulnerabilities. I needed to feel secure to be able to make progress, to be able to receive feedback. And instead, my wounded self thought that the solution was to just try to be perfect and to never even have that feedback in the first place, which is impossible. The book is The Inner Work of Relationships, and it really is a game changer when it comes to understanding your patterns of self-sabotage and how these coping mechanisms can be playing out in your relationship and really distracting you from the real healing that you could be doing together and keeping love distant, right? Like me doing this pattern was creating a defense mechanism between us, putting a wall between us, and it was stopping us from being able to connect. And so by going through the patterns that you see in your relationship, you can identify where you're at, where you're getting stuck, and then how to heal and break through them to go to another level of love and connection with your partner. You can get it now in the TikTok shop.